Alrighty, so welcome back to part 2 of the Lisbon backpack and gear review, or look at what we're carrying for those trips. Just as a follow-up to the last one on the packs, I just want to add one of the things, regardless of what I take, because I've got that larger Osprey bag for our gear, like when we leave, for checked luggage. I am going to be taking this small hiking pack. Now this is just a 20, I think it's a 22, 24 liter Camelback. It's simple, it's meant for hiking, it's very lightweight. If we're going up to Kashkash, for example, or to Setabul for the beaches, throw in a couple of towels. I might still carry the Insta360, but I might not carry anything else. So we'll have that. So I just wanted to add, in some ways, this pack is strictly for photography. Of all of them, though, the PGY Tech would be the best pack if you were going somewhere where you needed a non-camera bag. So you had your camera bag, but you were going to maybe have to go out and do groceries and use the backpack for carrying groceries. If you remove the cube parts of it, of that pack, you're creating essentially a nice big backpack, a normal backpack to carry. You can do it with the other two, but I mean, certainly the PGY Tech is the most flexible for either being a backpack or a camera bag. So that's why I'm going to carry this, just so that we have a second pack. It'll also be the pack that I might take if I'm going up to not Silvish, if I'm going up to Sintra, where I'll have maybe just one or two lenses. So the camera's got one lens on it for the trip up to Sintra, and then the second lens is just in here so I can throw an extra jacket, and then maybe throw some food in here so that once we're on the trail we can stop and have a bite to eat. Anyway, so that's just an additional thing. Okay, let's get on to it. Alrighty, so we got rid of the pack. I've replaced it though with just another bag. Now don't worry about, I'm not taking this. It's just that it's got some items in it that I want to highlight. Regardless of what bags I take, the camera gear is going to be different, because this bag cannot carry what the other two can. So, and that's, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with this setup. In some ways, I think this makes more sense. I'm trying to convince myself of that, because I think as photographers, we'd all love to be able to take all our gear on all our trips, because then you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. But the reality is I can't. So, you know, I'm trying to behave myself with my camera gear this time. But there are some things that are going to have to come with me. The first is, let me do this first, and then I can get this off the table, and then I'll have more room. The first is going to be the Insta360. The Insta360, which I'm filming with, so right now, so it's there, is going to have the little tripod. So it's a handheld, it's like a selfie stick, but it's got some height to it. The second thing is going to be, this would be what the Insta360 is in. It's a neoprene, little neoprene case just to protect it. This is the Insta360 microphone, charger, and the different attachments. So I'll have that in as well. I will have, no, I'm not taking that. The spare battery pouch. I've got to remember. I love these, by the way. Oh, let me just, where's the third one? So these are the Bellroy mini pouches. I actually have these in black, in green, and I'll likely get the red ones. They are really, really good. They're simple, a little expensive, but these Balroy pouches are great. I love them. For small things like this especially, because then you can put them in different parts of the bag, and you still know if I took the green ones as well, I would say, oh, well, this is the Insta360s in black. The green ones are my film photography equipment, just as an example. So in here, am I taking this? No, I'm not taking this. Okay, so I'm not taking this one. I'm taking this little pouch. This is part of the, I think they call it the Explorer. So it's Tilt, I think it's Tilta, has a cage, and I have the cage around the Insta360. That's on all the time. I never take that off. What I can take off every now and then, though, is this little piece that acts like a hand grip. It's for this side. So this sits on into the, like, it attaches with a screw into the cage. So it makes the Insta360 look like a small point and shoot camera. And the other thing it has is a small, it's a shutter release. It acts like a shutter release. It actually clicks like a shutter release, which is really cool. I know, I'm geeky, but it really is. It makes the Insta360 just look like a point and shoot. So that's it for the Insta360. I'm just gonna, let's just pop this over here. Now, in addition, the other thing, for the first time ever on a international trip, I'm taking my laptop. This is a HP 15-inch, not too thick, but it does fit in here. That's the important part. The other two, it fits easy. This one, it does fit. I'll also have a mouse and the power cord. And the power cord will fit in here in the bottom, and the mouse fits in the alpaca. Here, I'll put this back in the alpaca Vertex pouch, the new mini one. I got the smaller one. So you can see it's tight, but it does fit. There won't be much else in there. I've got the rain cover in here right now, and the belt component straps are in here. These will likely go into the little red pack in the back, in the checked luggage. They don't need to be in here for the flight. So that's in here in the top, or in the front. Now the other thing, so that's a mandatory. The Insta360 is a mandatory. The other thing that's a mandatory is this little bag. And this is what I was saying in Churchill, where I had my luggage diverted. It ended up being, I ended up spending a night without clothes, other than what I was wearing. And I needed my uniform. That was the big thing that was in that bag. My uniform and change of clothes. In here, I keep my sleeping shorts, a t-shirt, one of the better t-shirts that I usually use the quick dry type t-shirts, but I have one of those in here, a pair of underwear and a pair of socks. Like for a month, that's definitely not enough. So essentially I'd have two changes other than my pants. I'd have two changes every second day. I'd have to, except for my sleeping shorts, I'd have to wash. But it would get me at least a few days either for my luggage to show up, or in a case like Lisbon, Granada when we were there, Bordeaux when we were there, Catania in Sicily when we were there, they all had decathlons. And for me, that would be, I always look when we're flying where our first night is, and if I can see that there's a decathlon in the neighborhood, I'm not worried, because at the very least I might not look my best, and I might have to I can at least get maybe another pair of pants, a pair of shorts, if I had to, a pair of running shoes, and not have to pay some exorbitant prices, some high prices, or wear things that say, I love Portugal or whatever. So that's there. That has to come with me, and again, that fits up in the roll top. And the other thing that fits up in the roll top is, of course, the alpaca Vertex pouch. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would you put it up there? And if you're on the plane and you need it, well, I actually have, and let me just put this away. And this has the mouse in it, by the way. I don't think I'll be able to get the power component for the laptop in that, but and I might actually, there's room next to it, so I'll probably be able to squeeze it in. Oh, the other thing that might go up here, almost certainly will go up here, is a very lightweight. I think it's a Marmot. No, it's the other one, the other M. The Mastodon from France one, or Switzerland one. Anyway, I forget the name of it. Anyway, that would go up here because I can fold it into here. Okay, so the other pouch, now this alpaca, this is the zip clutch. In it, I have a battery bank and a couple of cables, not a lot, just I think 1 or 2 cables. A few, like right now it has this little charging block, but it's for North American sockets or wall plugs. But you can see I've got a couple of these. We're one of these. These are small rig cables. I think I have a little stand for my phone because that's sometimes all I have. A little to remove the SIM card out of my phone, and a spare little attachment for the Peak Design straps. And I think I have, yeah, okay, so this little guy, now this is a USB to USB. So if you're trying to charge your phone on a USB system, you have to be cautious and aware that it could be sending data. It could be using the cable, so just a normal cable, to send data. So you think you're just sitting there charging, and you're, it's, and I don't, listen, I'm not an IT person, I'm not a techie person, so it's not that it's hard for me to explain it. I don't really understand all of the idea, but people can get into that, what you think is a power system, and in fact hack your phone or send something that's malicious to your phone. This little device that you would plug in first, so it has a male and a female, so you would plug your male end from the USB cable to the female end of this little red thing. Just prevents that from happening. It turns that cable, which is a data and power cable, into a power only cable. So it allows me to carry one cable instead of having two, for significantly less size. And the other thing I have in here is a small power bank, and I think, if I remember right, this is only a 5,000 milliamp. Yeah, I can't see where it says, but I think this was only a 5,000 milliamp power bank. This is only meant to give me a bit of a boost on the phone if I'm somewhere. It's not meant to do a full charge, but it might get me out of trouble for a half hour or an hour or 2 hours or half a day. Just at least get a little bit of boost into the phone so that I could send a note to Joanne or whatever. So that's more of a walk around thing, but that's what's at my feet in my personal bag. So that's why all of the cables and stuff are up here. So those 4 items: laptop, clothing, the Vertex pouch with all the cables and stuff, and the Insta360. Those 3 things, or 4 things, are going to be in whatever bag I carry, okay? And they all fit nicely. Of course, more easily in the 2 bigger packs. So again, this pack right now is carrying a little, it's not quite carrying all the things I'd like to take, but it's, I think, a more reasonable camera setup. So I'm going to take them out and I'm going to put them here in front of me, because then I can load up the other bag and we'll just do this without the other, the mandatory items. So the first lens, and it's really a 2-part, is this guy. This is the EF 20-35 f2.8 Canon. It's a used lens I bought recently, specifically for the R, so full frame camera, and specifically for urban architecture shooting, street photography, that type of stuff. So that's there. And then I have the EF to RF adapter. I have the 2 adapters. One has the control ring, which I like, because then I work in semi-manual, so my camera is always set to auto ISO, but the f-stop, the f-stop is I will adjust on my own, and the shutter speed I adjust on my own. So the shutter speed, I use my thumb, the little thumb wheel for that, and then I put the focal, oh my goodness, why can't I think of it? But anyway, the f-stop adjustments on this wheel, which is like an old lens, actually. It's like the old days of manual lenses. So these 2 things go on the R. This is the R7. It's a little tight. I'm going to have to widen that out for the R. But essentially, it's because the R has the battery grip on it right now, and I'm too lazy to take it off. So I'm only taking 1 camera. I had been thinking of taking 2 cameras, the R and the R7. But I think it's overkill, and with the R, I can shoot in crop mode, and because it's a 30 megapixel, 32 megapixel camera, it's still giving me 18 in crop mode, and I like the R more for video. It shoots 4K cropped, granted, but for birds and stuff, that's fine. I like that more. The R7 I love this camera. It's coming to me in Algonquin. Only camera I'm taking to Algonquin. I only took this to Plaisance. But it's the street stuff, and the fact that this is not a great camera in lower light, where the R is much better. Not as good as the R8. Joanne still has the better camera for evenings. She'll be taking that camera out if we're going out somewhere in the evening. Like a restaurant. Go see a fado show. Fado is Portuguese music. It's a Portuguese type style of music. But so anyway, the R is coming without the battery grip. The 100 to 400. Now this will be this is the RF 100 to 400 F. What is that? It's something to F8, and I can't really see that. F. What was it? 5, 6 to 8. Yes, slow. And 400 at 8. It really gets to 8, I think, at about 200. But 400 at 8 is slow, but it's more than enough. Again, the R has the advantage. It's okay with low light or with less light. It doesn't, the ISO, even if the ISO is at 3200, 6400 on the R, it doesn't look terrible. It's fixable. So we're going to have this, and then the 100 to 400 Joanne is happy using as well. If we go somewhere and she wants to have this much length on her R8, it works for her. And I learned when we were in, mostly in, Sicily, I guess Sicily, but France, at the Bird place in France, in Bordeaux, or outside of Bordeaux. I was using the 100 to 500 RF. Yeah, I'd love to take the 100 to 500, but this trip if this trip was more, if this was more about birds and more about wildlife photography, it kind of justifies it. But it's a big lens. It does fit in here. I can get the 100 to 500 in here, but it does take up a lot more room. I have less room for other stuff. It's heavy, and it's just a big lens that I won't use for other than maybe Sintra, maybe Mafra, because Mafra has a historic site, but also these the woods, the royal woods, where there are deer and some really good opportunities for birds. I actually am hoping to go there a couple of times while we're in Lisbon, and Sintra, Cascais. So I might get enough use out of the 100 to 500, but it's still a big lens to carry around compared to the 100 to 400, which I could put easily into the PGY Tech sling bag. So anyway, the 100 to 400. We're going to, of course, take the 16 RF and the 50 RF. Joanne, she loves the 50. The 16 will be our for wide angle, and it's a 2.8. I think it's a 2.8. It's a 2.8, or yeah, it's a 2.8. So the 16 gives us, if we're in a restaurant and we want to do some stuff. Again, the 16 on the R8 is going to be perfect. And this is a 1.8, if I remember right. Ken lens 50 f 1.8. Yeah, so this is the 1.8. So, nothing special about either of those lenses, but they fill a niche in the style of photography Joanne and I like to do. I'm going to leave that for a second. 24 to 240. I love this lens. It's a slow lens. This is a f4 to 6.3. So it's not a fast lens but 24 to 240 is I think those are dream. 24 is wide enough, especially if you pair it with the 16. You could pair this go out with the 6. Go out to the 50. So I could have this and this in my shoulder bag with the R, and I can do birds with this. If in the worst case scenario is throw the camera into crop mode, 18 megapixel raw images, more than good enough, and it becomes a 380 effective range. And it's a sharp enough lens that if I keep it at the 240, I can crop, and I have no problem cropping images from this lens. I actually, in some ways, if Joanne and I are in Mafra, and she wants to, because there's deer there. I think they're roe deer or red deer. They were part of it was a hunting compound next to a palace. Historically, Portugal got rid of its royalty. I'm going to say the 50s, but I might be wrong. It might have been earlier than that. Anyway, if Joanne and I are walking around and she wants the 100 to 400 on her R8, I have no problem having this, the 24 to 240. In some ways, this to me is a sharper lens than this, but I think that's personal opinion. It's faster too for focusing. The final lens, don't laugh. You're not allowed to laugh. Is this little guy. Now this, and I need to have this with it, of course. This is an adapter. It's K&F Concept adapter M42 to R. So this is an M42 lens. It's essentially the screw mount. For those of you who don't know what an M42 is, it's an old, it might have actually been Soviet Union, East Germany style mount that's been adapted. So this is a TT Artisans. It's a new lens. I just bought it. It's a 100 f2.8. This is a bokeh monster. So it's meant to give really big bokeh bubbles. I bought this. One, because it wasn't terribly expensive. Two, because I wanted to be artsy fartsy. And three, 100 mil focal length. Maybe is a little long for some things, but for small in frame birds, for big landscapes where I'm trying to get something a little closer, this is going to be extremely, extremely fun to use. Okay, so let's give me a few minutes. I'm going to put everything that's on the desk right now into bag number 2, and which will be the think tank bag, and we'll take it from there. Okay, see you in a bit. This is the think tank again, the Backlight 26 liter. It's got a few more things in it. Laptop is not in it. The Vertex pouch is not in it. The clothing is not in it, and of course the Insta360 items are not in it. But they all fit much easier in many ways in the back, or things like something like this I would put, just by putting it on the side here. Anything that's in a little pouch, and you can see I have a heck of a lot more room to add these little pouches. Oh, it's really coming down now. So the first thing, the other that you'll notice is there's 2 camera bodies. And I'll get to that. I also have put some lenses on top of each other. They would get a separator. I'd have to go get them if I did do this. Okay. The adapter for the EF to RF lens, the 20 to 35. Let me just take anything out that you've already seen. The camera, again, I'm using the R7 for the example, but it would be the R. The 50 mil RF lens, the 16 mil RF lens, and the 24. Oh, come on, it's a little tight in here, but it does fit. 24 to 240 RF lens, and the 100 to 400 lens. Finally, of course, the TT Artisan and the adapter for the TT Artisan M42 mount to R mount. Okay, and we don't need to show you that, but I love this wrist strap. This is the Peak Design wrist strap. I really think I might buy a second one, just to have them always on the camera, because I have misplaced it and then you start looking for it. Anyway, but very, very good product. And I feel it's secure for whatever camera I use. The new items. So let's start with the camera, because that's going to make some of you a little bit, maybe make some of you uncomfortable. Oh, I don't think uncomfortable. I think some of you might feel queasy and what the hell is this guy doing? This is an old Canon A1. So this is a Canon camera. I believe it was late 70s, developed late 70s. Now, when my parents bought me, where is it? Oh, it's up there. Okay. So my first camera, the XV1, the Vivitar XV1, in 1981. This camera was already out, of course. And I got, at 16, you get a few magazines, and of course, the Canon A1 and the AE1 eventually were heavily marketed. Canon really has always been good, but especially back in the days of film, really, really good at marketing and magazine, full-page magazine ads. This was my dream. Not the, I think it was the F1, or the F series, their Pro series. No, but this A1, you could consider this A1 probably in comparison to today, considering today's technology, of the different quality of cameras, you could probably compare this easily to an R5 or R6 of the time, with the R1 or R3 being like that Pro model, the F model that would have been not something people would have bought who weren't pros. This would have been a prosumer, professional like. I'm just making sure the rain's not coming into the. I've got the window open, even though I have the air conditioning on, just to get a little fresh air. But it's not coming in, so it's okay. So just a wonderful camera. Now, this camera was my brother-in-law, Dennis's, as he was nearing end of life in 2022. He gifted me all his Canon lenses. I think he was probably more of a photo buff than even I am, because he did developing and stuff like that. So I love this camera. It's kind of fun to have it now at this point in my life, because I think I know how to use it better, and I can make use of it. So this would come with me in either the Mindshift think tank bag or in the PGY Tech. So again, lovely camera. Let me just hide this for a second, because this is what I think some of you are going to think I'm totally crazy. So an adapter for the next two lenses. I would be carrying the 28 FD mount lens, and then an adapter that I could actually then put it onto the R. So it's an FD to R, because that's the M42. So there, that's the FD that was the M42 adapter. So this is the FD to R adapter. You just pop it on, and then it fits right on the camera. Of course, manual lens, but very 28 mil, nice size. The other thing, and it's really a two-parter, is this big guy here and the teleconverter. So this is a 300 5.6. Some people would say that this was one of the sharpest lenses, Canon FDs, and this is an NFD, so new FD lens. So it's a little later, would be a little older than the camera. Extremely sharp, manual, and it's a 5.6. So I mean, a wonderful companion to that camera, to the A1 or to the R on the R, although you'd have to shoot with focus peaking on to make it easier. And then the 2x teleconverter, and teleconverters, whether the one thing I didn't realize is that the teleconverter, just as an aside, I have two teleconverters, two Canon FD teleconverters, an A and a B. Now the A is used for 300s and larger, and the B, and it's actually, there is a size difference in them. The B is used for, where is it? There it is. 200 or anything under 300. So if there was a 299, it would be for that lens, but 200, or the, so that's the 200 f4, and this is a 200, a 70 to 210 f4. That B would work on that. So this teleconverter A, on the 300 5.6, the 300 4, the 300 2.8, the 400 500 600s. That's what this teleconverter is for. Would give this a 600 mil on the full frame. Sharp, really sharp, diminishes sharpness, as all 2x teleconverters do, but it's still a good photo. It still can be a good photo. I haven't used this on the camera yet, on the film camera. I'm going to when we're in Algonquin, but I've used it on the R and the R7, and it's unbelievably it's a really sharp. When you're in focus, it's really sharp. So I'm going to be playing with that when we're in Algonquin. So you can see I've got a lot more going on here. I could get rid of all the film stuff and rearrange things to carry the 100 to 500 instead if I wanted to. But again, that type of the kit, if I went with this bag, and I wanted to have everything I could, take. So, okay, so that's it for the think tank. Now we'll go on to the PGY Tech in a second. Alrighty, so had to shut the window because the rain was coming in, and there's some thunder and lightning. So if you hear any bangs, it's some inclement weather today. Today and tomorrow is actually supposed to be bad. But listen, we've had such a dry summer. Joanne, whose hobbies are photography, is also a really passionate gardener. She has a number of gardens in our yard, covering, whether it's the front, the back, or the sides, depending on, I think, hostas. And anyway, and she was out there the other day, and she was saying how dry. She was digging stuff, up, and she was saying how dry the ground was. So it'll be good for the garden. Anyway, okay, on to the photography. So similar options in terms of the 4 items: the Insta360, the clothing, the laptop computer, and the alpaca Vertex pouch in this bag, between the roll top and this front pouch area. The only thing is, I don't care for the way the computer sits in this bag. If I was, and again, I'm almost certain I'm not taking this one at this point. Although now that I have it packed up, it's kind of, I'm going, oh, but this is so nice. It's something to consider when you're putting your gear together, and it fits. Everything fits so easily. As much as it fits easily in the think tank, it fits even easier in here in this. Without even the bulk, which is really weird how packs can be packed out and not seem as thick and bulky as a pack that has less stuff in it but just feels overly packed. Anyway, so with this front, it's almost like a kangaroo pouch here in the front. I'm thinking of using a neoprene sleeve for the laptop that I have, and putting the laptop in the front. It wouldn't have any protection because this is just a single waterproof or water resistant layer of a material, but the neoprene cover would give it some degree of protection, probably no less than what it would get if it was in the pack, in a sleeve that's in the pack. But that's something I'm thinking. The other thing that I could put in here, of course, is my clothing. The top, and I don't have the extra stuff in here, but the top, along with, so it's got, right now I have some few things in here, but the top, along with, actually it might not, actually this pack might have a hard time carrying everything I want, but would have this item. Now this is a low pro Trekker Light SLX 120. It's a bag that can be used as a shoulder bag or a fanny pack, a lumbar bag. It has that option, and I've actually come up with an adapter, or a way of, I've adapted using the Vertex, the bigger Vertex shoulder sling strap onto here, because it has these attachment points that makes it nicer to carry than if I was to use the way Low Pro had designed it. Anyway, this bag might actually also come as a backup bag, but it's less important. In here, so this would just fit down in the roll top component. And again, it's a little overstuffed right now up there, but you'll get it. I mean, you get the idea. It fits in there. In here, and I'll do this fairly quick. I just threw things in here so they're not properly placed, but is that 300 FD lens? So that's for the film camera. The adapter for those lenses to the 2x teleconverter, the 28 millimeter lens, and finally the adapter for the M42 to R would go in here. I have enough room in here that I might actually also grab this lens. This is the 85 RF. If I was to do this, I could put this in here. It's a heavy lens. This is a 1.8. And I know if I have the 85 and the 100, I'm getting kind of on top of each other. I am, but this is a lovely lens. This is really, really a lovely lens. So anyway, that's what would be in here that would go up top. So the 24 to 240, and that's what's nice with this bag too. It just, like, that lens fits well underneath the zipper line. Like, it's such a deep, this is a deep friggin' camera bag, but look at it. It doesn't look chunky, you know, like, unlike me. But it just fits so nicely. So the 24 to 240, the 20 to 35, the 16 or the 50, it doesn't really matter. I have them on top of each other like this right now, but they would have a something protecting them, keeping them separate. The R7 replacing the R for the camera. This is the lens hood for the 20 to 35. The 100 to 400 lens. The TT Artisans lens. The adapter for EF to RF, which I really could put it onto. In this bag, I would actually put it onto the lens because there's enough height for this to fit. It does also to be fair, it does also in the think tank, which would open up a bit more room for another lens, or batteries and stuff like that. And then of course the A1. So that's really what you could fit in here, which is a lot. I think the other thing for me in considering is really the weight. When I start getting into this extensive 2-camera series setups, it's starting to get heavy. This little 85 is surprisingly. I think this 85 is actually heavier than the 300, or it's close, probably close to it. But it's starting to get, you know, heavy, and this little TT Artisans, that's another. It's a chunky little heavy lens. The 24 to 240 and the 100 to 400, they're not as heavy, or they may be, but they're also bigger lenses. So, and I'm still not dealing with the other little niggly stuff like batteries, and what else? Maybe some filters. I might take some filters, but so that's in a nutshell, kind of a what's in my bag, kind of a what I'm going to be carrying to Lisbon. Again, after all of that, which was almost a good exercise for me, because it's the first time I've actually had all three, and I've done this in and out. I'm even more convinced that the Tenba is the right bag. It does mean I'm not taking the film camera, but in the long run, is that a bad thing? And I don't think it is. I think taking the film camera adds a level of more I have to worry about while we're traveling. And I just saw Joanne drive into the driveway, so I'm going to end it here so that I can go help her with the groceries or whatever she brought home for lunch. And I want to thank you. Thank you for this. Hopefully I can make it a reasonable length, and it can provide some ideas of how to think about your own setup if you're traveling. So next time you'll see me is probably a video for Algonquin, or a couple of videos. Hopefully we'll be seeing moose and bears soon, and then it'll be off to Lisbon a few weeks after we get home. Okay, anyway, take care everyone. Thanks for watching.